Well, my brother did it with me, and honestly, if he didn't drive me, I probably wouldn't have gone. I wasn't partying the night before, I just was tired.
I know, well, we stayed up till midnight and we were like shocked that we made it till midnight, because we usually met at like 10.
No idea.
How did the screen see?
I look at cost versus effectiveness. Is the $250,000 you're paying somebody to run our school system worth the product that they're turning out? I say no. I wouldn't even want to go there.
But you think salary is too much? 280? Okay, with what standard? Because average citizens is over 300. Hi, how are you doing, sir?
Good evening, and welcome to the Lawrence City Council meeting. Today is, and Happy New Year, today is January 3rd, 2023. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting will be hybrid, allowing participation both in person and in the City Council chambers and remotely. We can be watched and viewed at the Zoom as well as on our City Council Facebook page and our City Council YouTube page. At this point, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Present.
Council Payano, noted. Council Giovanni Rodriguez,
Present.
Council Gregory Lopez.
Present.
Council Selena Reyes,
Present.
Council Stephanie Conde,
Present.
Council Vice President Estela Reyes, noted as absent. Council President Michael Flynn.
Just to let everybody know, we won't be joined this evening by the Vice President, Council Vice President Estela Reyes. There was a death in her family, and she wanted me to make sure that she would like to have been here this evening, but because of obviously the commitments that she has to deal with family matters, does not allow her to be present with us tonight. So when we have a moment of silence, I will ask that we all have our colleague and friend and her family and friends in mind, and then we'll follow that with the Pledge of Allegiance. Will you please join us in a moment of silence? Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilors, before we start our normal course of business, as you know, we have within the last year, we have been doing things called citations, and we do these for people who we think are deserving of our recognition for a variety of reasons. And with that, I'm going to pass the gavel on to the most senior member of the City Council, Councilor Rodriguez. So on our behalf, I can make a presentation this evening. Councilor. Councilors, welcome again and from this side of the podium. As you know, we have been very well represented for the last 4 years in Beacon Hill by Representative Christina Minicucci. She has been diligent in her duties. She has served her various communities with energy, with passion, and with incredible diligence and competence. But I know firsthand, and I think we have another city councilor who she has represented as well, knows firsthand, and all of us do by watching her, how impactful she has been in serving the people that we represent in the State House in Boston. And while it is somewhat sad in some respects to lose someone of the kind of qualifications and skills as well as devotion to public service like we have with Representative Minicucci, I just think it's important that, that we officially thank her for her duties and thank her for her efforts. And with that, I'd like to read this citation that we all signed. Would you mind joining me?
He's getting teary-eyed.
This is a citation for Representative Christina Minicucci, we call a friend to Lawrence. Whereas Representative Minicucci has served the 14th Essex District and represents parts of Lawrence, Methuen, Haverhill, and North Andover since 2018. And whereas Representative Minicucci has delivered valuable and noteworthy service to the residents of Lawrence, of Prospect Hill, Mount Vernon, and Colonial Heights, and has enthusiastically responded to a multitude of requests for assistance and relief. Whereas Rep. Minicucci has tirelessly and effectively served Lawrence through the Merrimack Valley gas crisis, the COVID-19 epidemic, and other issues such as improving our canals. Whereas Representative Minicucci has been a model partner with the Lawrence City Council, a genuine resource and an advocate for the entire city. And therefore, let it be known to all that the Lawrence City Council acknowledges, recognizes, and thanks Representative Christina Minicucci for serving Lawrence residents in the Massachusetts Great and General Court, considers her a friend to the city, and provides every good wish in her future endeavors. Now, therefore, we, the undersigned City Council of the City of Lawrence, Massachusetts, by and through this citation, hereby set our hands and cause the seal of the City of Lawrence, Mass. To be affixed to this, and we had this signed on the 20th day of December, 2022. It is signed by the entire Lawrence City Council. Thank you, Representative.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Did you wish to, there we go. I'm going to sit down and listen to you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you all so much. This was definitely unexpected. When Mark called me here, I thought maybe you would just say thank you and that would be it. But as really my last thing that I'm doing as a state rep, because as of 11:59 tonight, I will no longer be Representative Christina Minicucci of the 14th Essex. This is a great way for me to finish the past 4 years. And you did a really nice job here at summing up all of the different things that we went through together, and I couldn't ask for better partners than all of you. I know that for as much as you may have called on me, I'm certain that I have called on you more and asked more of all of you throughout the past 4 years to make sure that we best serve all the citizens here in Lawrence and across the 14th Essex. So again, thank you so much. I'm sorry we never got to do our special tour. Mark has this dream of doing the behind the scenes tour of the State House. So you guys will now be represented. 2 of your fellow city councilors will now be representing the city so that you can ask them for the tour of the State House in my absence. But thank you. This warms my heart. It's going to hold a very special place in my heart. So thank you so much. Thank you all of you. Oh, I'm going to come around.
And I also want to thank, I also want to have a special thank you to Representative Rodriguez for requesting that we have it a little more special than our usual piece of paper. So thank you, Counselor, excuse me, Representative, Counselor Rodriguez for that nice little touch. Thank you. So there you go. Would you please call the roll for Counselor Payano?
Present.
Thank you. At this point, we will go back to a beginning. Oh, hello, yes. Is there a motion to recess?
Second.
Motion made by the Counselor Selena Reyes, seconded by Counselor Rodriguez. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. We're in a short recess. looking for a motion to come out of recess.
Move.
Motion made by Councilor Rodriguez, seconded by the Senator-elect, Mr. Payano. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Now, public participation. You know the drill, 2.5 minutes. After 2 minutes, the bell rings. Limit your comments to the chair. Any individual city councilors. First person, Mr. Mali.
Humayun Ali, 53 Chester Street. Good evening, honorable members. In this new year, we demand the best contract for Lawrence Police Department and the union. Lawrence Police, with the impeccable leadership by Honorable Chief Roy Vask, has done excellent job to protect our citizens. We wish Happy New Year for Lawrence Police Union. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your hard work. The year of the 2023 is the year that we ask the best contract for the best police department in the nation. Million thanks to our wonderful DPW workers and the union. Lawrence is a beautiful city because of your hard work. We are looking for the best superintendent for Lawrence Public School, a superintendent who supports our teachers and our union. The superintendent has the best relationship with our community and citizens and respect our elected official to the offices in the city. Laurentian in this great new year proud to support union from our police officers union, firefighters union, DPW and teacher. Remember your campaign promise, save Lawrence, prosper Lawrence, only possible if you have the best contract for Lawrence Police. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Mr. Russell, Dick Russell.
Good evening, councilors. I hope that all had an enjoyable holiday season. Also, remember, we have 2 more important holidays coming up. January 8th, Elvis would have been 88 years old, and on January 9th, Richard Nixon would have been 110. On to other issues. The Collins Committee report on salary for non-union city workers. The Collins Committee used 10 communities whose average household income, now these numbers came from worldpopulationreview.com website. The average salaries for those 10 communities is $94,127, while the average household income of Lawrence is $59,685. Lawrence has an average household income that is 63.4% of the sample used to determine what the new salaries would be. Is this an example of political think tanks comparing apples to oranges? Second, it's come to my attention that somebody working as a city department head already has a pension from the Lawrence Public School System with limitations of being able to work 1,200 hours a year. Typically, a normal work year has 260 days in it. 260 days times 7.5 hours equals 1,950 hours. If this individual can only work 1,200 hours out of the 1,950 hours, or 61.5% of the time, will his salaries be the same 61.5% of the budgeted salary, or will the other 38.5% of the salary be considered as a stipend for being a good doobie? Next, I want to refresh people's memories about their high school science class, namely Newton's third law of motion, stated simply, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Lastly, you may hear this from me again in the near future, but I leave you with a quote from the last lines of a Rolling Stones song from the mid-'60s. This could be the last time, maybe the last time, I don't know. As always, I thank you for the time.
And that's it for public participation. The names, addresses, and comments are being submitted to the city clerk for the official records. Thank you so much, clerk. At this point, we will begin our public hearings. The first public hearing is for document number 36322, 15-minute parking at 253 Ferry Street. Clerk, would you please read the public hearing notice?
Notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023 at 7 p.m. at a public meeting in the City Council Chambers, 200 Common Street, Lawrence, Mass. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021 and in accordance with the recently revised City Council Rule 2, this meeting will be hybrid, allowing participation both in person and remotely to accommodate any participant with health considerations that prevent them from participating in person. To receive access codes or for remote participation, please contact City Clerk Eileen Burnell at eileen.burnell@cityoflawrence.com or 978-620-3230. The meeting may be viewed on Facebook and YouTube. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment of the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence to be further amended by adding the following new paragraph, Section 10.36.260 of the Municipal Code, 15-minute parking to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order, Prospect Street. From the northeast corner of Ferry Street on Prospect Street, traveling north to a point 20 feet. From the northeast corner of Ferry Street on Prospect Street, traveling north to a point 40 feet. From the southeast corner of Ferry Street to Prospect Street, traveling northeast to a point 20 feet. And from the southeast corner of Ferry Street to a proposed Ferry Street on Prospect Street, traveling north to a point 40 feet, between the hours of 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor De La Cruz, seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion, Councilor Rodriguez?
So I just want to make sure that it is clear on the record that the 15-minute parking is not only exclusively for the mini market. It could be anybody that parked there at any time for 15 minutes or less.
Very good. Any other comments on this? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Looking for a motion to suspend the preambles to the next two public hearings. Motion made by Councilor Payano, seconded by Councilor Levy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Clerk, please read the public hearing notice for document number 36422.
The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence to be further amended by adding the following new paragraph to Section 10.36.20 of the Municipal Code, 20-minute parking to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order. Common Street, from the northeast corner of Broadway on Common Street, traveling east to a point 98 feet, and from the northeast corner of Broadway on Common Street, traveling east to a point 118 feet. 20-minute parking Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., 579 Common Street. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve.
Motion made by Councilor Selena Reyes, seconded by Councilor Payano. Discussion. Seeing none, Councilor Rodriguez?
It has been pointed out that this location here, it's going to be affected by the contract in regard to the meters, which is going to have a limit of 2 hours. So my question will be, once the contract for the parking meters take over, is that place going to be 2 hours limit? Or, well, as a matter of fact, there is no limit on the contract. So this is going to stay with the 20-minute limitation?
I don't have an answer for that. It's a very good question, because around our city, there's a lot of places that this fits. We've got people with a 20-minute parking here and an hour here, and we're going to have in some of these places, and I don't recall, does anybody recall, colleagues, during the presentation, what would happen in particular circumstances? Numbers, or I think it all goes away and everything's a meter, which which is what I want to say, but I don't have an absolute certainty in it. Anybody? Hearing none, I don't have an answer, Counselor. We can certainly, we have a couple of options here. We can wait to get vote on it. Mr. Spanner is here. Maybe he's got something he wants to say to us.
Good evening, Councilman, President. Happy New Year to the council members. We can get that information for you. Unfortunately, I didn't know that this question would be, but we can provide that tomorrow. I'll get the information and the exact question from the city clerk tomorrow. So good?
So there you go. So there's a motion before us, discussion. I see Councilor Payano with his hand up, then I heard Councilor Levy signaling to speak, and maybe Councilor Rodriguez.
So I think another question, Council President, that we should ask the city attorney is if the answer is that we are removing those 2-hour parking or 15-minute parking, does that mean that we have to remove them from our ordinances?
Let's have that as part. I think I know the answer to that, rather than me speculate. I'm pretty sure what the answer is, but let's get an official ruling on that. Councilor Levy? Councilor Rodriguez?
Was the fact that we're gonna have to do something about it. I wouldn't think it would be fair just to table this month and when we have hundreds of them. So I don't know when the mirrors is gonna take place. Probably it's in a couple of months. In the meantime, there is a solution for this business. In particular, just like any other that have requested in the past. So if it is up to me, I will say just let's continue with the process on this, because I don't know how affected this business is, and perhaps later on when we take over in general, this will be also gonna take into consideration.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yeah, I want to follow up that if we can somehow notify the owner of the business and let her know that the meters might affect them with the 20-minute parking, will be great.
Whose district that is?
That's common in Broadway, so that's D.
That's D?
Yeah. So
Maybe we can ask the councilor if he can reach out. Councilor, would you be willing to do that?
yeah,
There
so
you
I
go.
mean, let her know that we probably will, go with it, but eventually she might be affected, and in case that she's seen the sign being removed, she don't. If that's the case, But.
Anyone else? Yeah, Councilor Payano.
So I don't know if it's the DPW's office or what office to send communications to, because there's going to be a lot of people affected, a lot of folks that pushed to get these type of requests in the last couple of years that are going to see it removed. And I think that if it's better to be proactive than all of a sudden get, each counselor get like 50 calls regarding all those issues. So I don't know if it'd be DPW or what department, but somebody should send out a letter to the folks being affected by it.
Councilor Rodriguez?
Yeah, I mean, now that we are actually discussing partially this situation, if in case that we need to remove the ordinances from our books, we're gonna have to follow the process of removing it all as one, and eventually we're gonna have to evaluate those cases. What I'm concerned is, like, as we discussed during those times when we were arguing about the contract, people might park and pay for 8 hours on those locations, and there won't be nothing that the city can do about that. So this may be another opportunity to rethink the whole thing, or maybe there's going to be special places that people might really get affected and business might get damaged in terms of income and revenues if they don't have a place to clients to park. I think this will be an opportunity to discuss to discuss this specific situation in terms of 20 minutes, an hour, 20-minute parking later on down the road. But I think it will be important to have the discussion.
All right. We barely have a quorum, but we still vote. If there's no other discussion on this item, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Clerk, will you please read the public hearing notice?
The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence, to be further amended by adding the following new paragraph to Section 10.36.010 of the Municipal Code: parking prohibited on certain streets at all times, to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order. Walnut Street. From the northwest corner of Myrtle Street on Walnut Street, traveling north to a point 0 feet, from the northwest corner of Myrtle Street on Walnut Street, traveling north to a point 20 feet. To the extent that there exists any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve?
Motion made by Councilor Selena Reyes, seconded by Councilor Payano. Discussion.
Discussion.
Councilor Rodriguez, discussion.
I think that we have two things in front of us, and something that need to be kind of a little bit clear is like the signs that they're gonna post is do not park from here to corner, which it's already in the book.
They're already there.
They're already there. So there is no signs that says no parking directly. Like it will be a no park from here to corner, which is a typical signs that we already have an ordinance for in the City of Lawrence. So I just want to point that out that this is we're gonna have the ordinance. This affecting this specific place, but also an ordinance in general for the whole city, which already exists.
Any further discussion on this? I see Councilor Del Rosario, and then I see Councilor De La Cruz.
That specific
And then Councilor
location of
Payano.
Walnut, right next to the store, and across the street with the big parking lot with the big houses there, they do have those two signs that say, "Do not park from here to the corner." So those signs are placed there already.
Councilor De La Cruz?
Yes. We had that problem through the whole city. In the corner of Prosper and East Hebron, we had that situation constantly and every day. We just need to find a way to reinforce. We just need to find a way to reinforce. We need to reinforce those laws, and I guess we had to ask the police department, especially on weekend, to go around and to start giving out the tickets, because it's no way that people are understanding that you cannot park on the corner. And a lot of accidents are already happening. I'm talking about Prosper on East Haven. But people know that they have no consequence for what they're doing. You know, giving the tickets will make people think about it. I think we have to reinforce the law and make sure that we do have somebody at least on the weekend. On Middle Street is very crowded, especially when there is games in the park and all of that. Then how are we gonna make sure these laws are being, you know, are being followed? Because it doesn't matter if we put million signs around the city and nobody is reinforcing the law to tell people, you park there, automatically you're gonna get the ticket. For example, there is a camera on East Hebron Prospect. That camera is telling us that people are parked there every single day. Then what we're gonna do? I think we need to change the ordinance for this.
Counselor Piano?
Thank you, Council President. So I'm looking at the public hearing notice, and the public hearing notice is only for the section that says northwest. It does not talk about the other no parking on the northeast side. Does that matter? No, so if you read the hearing, it only talks about, so Cano's letter talks about both. The public hearing only talks about one.
It's up to the council how they want it. Is anybody else, are you done, Counselor?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I mean, I sort of asked a question.
Question is what, that one thing does not resemble the other, so the notice does not resemble what the request is?
So my question is, so it sounds like what the committee intended to send up was a no parking on the northwest side and a no parking on the northeast side. The public hearing says northwest. Does this mean that we should do another public hearing that says northeast and then have a future vote? Or can, with this vote, we do both northwest, northeast? Yeah, I don't know where the background noise is coming from. So that was my question.
Through you, Council President.
So the answer, well, from the chair's perspective, this is a very interesting case, because it seems like this is, no offense to any, but unnecessary. There's currently a law that says you are not allowed, that the counselor has already pointed out, that you're not allowed, no one is allowed to park within 20 feet of the intersection. So to have an ordinance that replicates what the law is redundant, right? So what I don't know here is whether we need to have, is there proper signage there? There is proper signage, so there's signage that says no parking, then it's kind of weird that we're looking to have an ordinance for this. But I'm going, pardon?
So then I'm confused. So you're saying that there's already, so then what's the
There is a law, state law.
So Councilor, I think wants to shed some light on this, so go ahead, Councilor.
Yeah, thank you, through you. It's part of my district. What I think is the confusion was, maybe when Selena, my colleague, a large request for this, those signs, don't park here to the corner, weren't posted there. So she probably put it in the agenda to get the no parking. I requested to enforce that law through DPW, maybe before she put that, and they put up those signs, do not park from here to the corner, prior from her, which I asked them if I needed to put in the agenda, and they said, no, you don't. They could go up due to the fact that I drive a school bus, and for me, at 2 p.m., 2:30, to drive and take that turn, it was too close with those two things. I mean, for people parking on both sides right at the corner, I couldn't make that corner. I got to go around it. So I kind of said, well, an emergency vehicle wouldn't go through either. So I asked some questions and said, well, you don't need to put an agenda. It's actually state law that says 20 feet from there, so we're going to place the signs based on the state law that it needs to be there. So what I'm assuming is, and I do apologize, Ms. Selena, maybe I should have sent an email on it, but I didn't. She probably put that request in as seeing the same problem, and the signs weren't there. So I don't know if we can withdraw it.
Before we withdraw, we can take
Yeah, I
advantage
don't know
of
if
this.
she wants to take a drive there and see that the signs are placed there. Well, I don't know how if she want to do that, I respect that, but the sign, yeah, the signs are there, yeah.
Yeah.
Through you, Mr. President,
Councilor Reyes.
I request to put the sign, because we have ordinance, to allow no parking the 20 feet. The sign is to respond to our residents. They know when they saw the sign, don't park in there. But through DPW told me I supposed to put in the agenda.
Yeah.
So, but we can withdraw the item
Before
tonight.
we get to that point, I would like to take advantage of this case.
Councilor Rodriguez?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to actually make a motion to send correspondence to two different departments. The first one is to make, to perhaps order or make a request to the DPW to actually paint the sidewalk. The fact that that location is very tight, so paint the sidewalk in yellow as it's supposed to be. So I would like to make that as a form of a motion. And on that motion, I would like to include to actually send correspondence to the police department to enforce the current state law 20 feet from here to corner on that specific location, since we've been dealing with the situation at this level.
So let's make a motion specifically for this particular section, because this is what's before us right now, citywide. So there's a request, and you said sidewalks, but I think you meant curb, correct? Curb. So the motion is for a curb, and it's been properly seconded. I know that Councilor Infante wishes to speak, who hasn't spoken yet. So Councilor Infante.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to reiterate what my colleague said about enforcing the law. We're talking about a from here to the corner of a street situation, but I've been working with the city clerk's office, DPW, and LPD about a similar situation regarding driveways. There's been a few, like 2 or 3 months in the making. It is also a state law that within a certain feet of a driveway, you're not allowed to park. We had a meeting, I last minute couldn't attend due to my day job, but they met, discussed that this in fact is a state law, and we're working on bringing some type of ordinance or something to enforce this law. So it's an issue not only for corners, but driveways throughout, the entire city. So I would reiterate the enforcement of laws in our community.
Great points. Great points. So right now, what's currently before us is essentially a motion for the curb and the enforcement, two things, right? And is there any further discussion on that motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question on painting and more enforcement. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Currently, we still have a motion to adopt this thing. Is there a motion? Did I hear a motion to withdraw? I heard there's a motion by Councilor Reyes to withdraw. It has now been seconded by Councilor Payano. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. And that's it for public hearings this evening. Are there any tabled matters that councilors wish to take off the table? I see Councilor Dela Cruz's hand. Councilors, though, the Councilor Dela Cruz is looking at is after public hearings, there's matters pending a public hearing. Document is document 200-21, 4-point stop signs East Haverhill and Berkeley Street. Go ahead, Councilor.
Number one thing's parking on every little corner in that surrounding. And we have a daycare that it has a lot of kids in there, and it's a lot of crossing at 2 o'clock. And nobody has been by car. Parents are complaining that when they're crossing the street with their kids, the car is not stopping. Then, to whom we should send notice that we have public hearing actively. We need to work on that. My concern is before any accident, because it seems to be that
I think the councilor's making a great point. I think there's there's about 6 items that are there. It's been a while since we last looked at them. I think out of fairness to all of us, I'd like to get a refresher as to where those are, what's the deficiencies that's prohibiting it from having a public hearing, and see what the situation is. Perhaps, go ahead and for the next meeting, give us an update on those 6 matters to remind us again, what is it that's prohibiting us, what's the reason that we're not able to have that public hearing? Each one of these has a different reason, so I want to figure out what those are. So we could ask, I'm not sure if we need a vote on that, but clerk, would you make sure that we get that in time for the next meeting? And we can have a discussion at that point, and we can go through all, I think there's all 6 or 7 items. All right, thank you, counselors, appreciate that. Any, under tabled matters, anything under tabled matters? Seeing none, we will go right to new business. Document 123, direct disposition of real property, Willow Street, map 17, lot 40, Housing Committee. Document 223, appropriation transfer, Recreation Department, $62,000 from salary line items to purchase of services. Document 323, appropriation from free cash, $99,440 to Green Communities Competitive Grant Program. It's the Budget and Finance. Document 423, ordinance reinstating position of Planning Director. And by the way, this should be clear to everybody. This is a reorganization. I want to make sure that is clear. So, if it's not clear on the agenda, but it is clear now if we're talking to the administration. This is a reorganization that is going to the Ordinance Committee. And because of that, there's a whole set of rules and ordinances that get reorganized. Document.
You should have most of your. Oh, 7. Whatever you need, whenever you get it, as soon as possible.
Document 523, authorization to expend grant funds, $250,500 from the 2023 Shannon grant is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Document 623, approval of contract for services performed in prior fiscal year, $14,000 is going to the Budget Committee. And document 723, acceptance of Mass General Laws, Chapter 64J, taxation of fuels used in the propulsion of jet fuel of aircraft. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. We already have, I believe, schedules for our committees. As a reminder for them folks that didn't write them down, do we have those? We don't have? Can we just kind of go through that list one more time? I think we've, do you have? If you remember what it is, this would be a good time. Housing Committee? Let's do this. I want to get the folks that already pre-scheduled something first. So ordinance, I think, has already been first. So when is ordinance? Tuesday at 7. Budget and Finance? Wednesday at 7. What am I missing? Personnel? Nothing, right? Now, housing, so you got some free time. Public safety? Okay. I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else. I want to wish our Senator-elect good luck tomorrow. Swearing-in ceremony, very exciting day for all of us. You're going to make us all proud, and we look forward to seeing you. Seriously, I'm not making this up. I'm looking forward to that. So, is there a motion to adjourn? Motion made by the Senator-elect, seconded by Councilor Randall Levy. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it.